Hey, friends. I am Brianna Lightfoot Smith. I am someone who is extremely passionate about helping women live from a place of overflow and not exhaustion. And I had a real time moment today where I was like, you know what? I need to get on and talk to the girls about how we can avoid moments like this. So, for those of you who do not know, I am a mom of four and I sent one of my sons off for soccer practice today. And it was so draining to me because instead of him going with his routine, going and getting the things that he needed for soccer practice, he was asking me where everything was. And as I was sitting and talking to him about the importance of systems and routines, I found myself saying to myself, this is why inspiration is great to start something, but it cannot sustain that thing, right? Because when he started out, he was super pumped about it, right? He's like, oh, he's excited about the things that come along with soccer, having his own soccer ball, having a water bottle that he can drink out of, being able to go to practice, hanging out with other guys, right? And I love that for him. But I realized he still did not have the structure that he needed to be able to sustain this on a long term basis. And I also recognized that for me, this was an area that was draining a lot of my energy because of the lack of consistency. And so you see in the video title that I am talking about the importance of not being drained, but that comes with identifying what's draining you and what infrastructure that you need to be able to support you in whatever season you're in. And so I want to level set and let you guys know I'm going to be sharing inside of my planner the importance of the energy audit that I have inside of here and why I personally walk through it myself every single month because there are things that we just get accustomed to and get used to. And I am a big proponent of not just leading from a place of overflow, but and not exhaustion, but also I'm a big proponent of planning from a place of peace and not panic. And I found that this evening when he's running around trying to figure out where everything is, despite knowing the fact that he had soccer practice, it was unnecessary. It didn't need to be stressful, and it was. And so I hope that the things that I share with you today will help you as you are planning your month, planning your week, planning your quarter if you're a quarterly babe, or if you're like me and you plan in seasons. I really think that today's video is going to be helpful for you. So you can grab a notebook if you do not have my Freedom and Flow planner. This planner is available at BriannaLightfootSmith.com/flow. We have a 4-month version, a 12-month version, and we also have a digital version, which is the 12-month. And the feedback on all of those is always really great. I reached out to someone today who got their digital planner last week, and she told me, she said, I am not even someone who uses digital planners. And this has been game changing. So just drop the link to that for you. But I'm going to open up to my most recent energy audit. Typically, I will do these at the end of the month, or if the month was one of those where you were just like, child, I'm hanging on by a thread. I don't even know what day it is. Then by the first few days of the new month, I want to have it completed. And the energy audit has 5 parts. So there's the actual audit itself where you are just writing down your schedule, how much time everything that you're doing on a daily basis is taking you. I recommend inside of here picking your busiest day of the week because it'll allow you to see where those energy leaks might be happening. And then we have the energy assessment. I am a journal girl, so the energy assessment allows you to look at the energy audit list and say, okay, what am I doing on a regular basis? Why am I doing it? What things needed to shift? Then we move from the assessment to the exchange. The exchange is really helpful because you write down what you're doing and then what you would rather do instead. Now, you'll see for the month of March, my what would you rather do instead panel is empty because I realized in the month of March, I really prioritized and was able to spend my time in areas that were energizing to me. So, writing, planning, building infrastructure for things, establishing community, working on the curriculum for my Rhythm Reset experience, which is going to be Sunday, April 26th. and it's perfect for you if you're in a rebuilding season. And all of those things were extremely energizing for me. So I didn't find myself having to put what would I rather do instead. Then you have your energy transfer. Now, this is, I said 5 parts, I think both four, but this is actually 4 parts. And so the energy transfer says, what are your most due tasks? These are things that can only be done by you. You can't delegate them because it's like, okay, well, this is just the one person. So for me, with speaking and writing, yes, I might have a copywriter to or an editor to come back and look at things when I share them. Yes, I might even use AI tools for help with grammar and flow for things, but ultimately the original ideas have to come from me. So that's not something that I can delegate easily. Same thing with curriculum development, same thing with program delivery, same thing with recording my videos, right? It has to be me. Now, could do tasks are things that you can do, things that you might even enjoy, but they also could be shared with someone else to free up more of your time. So some of the things that I put on here were slide design and video editing. And then at the bottom, it says what can be delegated or dismissed. I put emails. That was it. That was the only thing that I put there because I realized that I can spend a lot of time in my inbox if I'm not intentional about it. Now, what is so great about this energy audit is that prayerfully, by the time you get through a full year of doing this, you are operating in what a lot of authors refer to as your area or your level or your zone of genius, right? So you're not just moving in your zone of intelligence, you're not just moving in your zone of competency, you're moving in your zone in your area where things are really flowing and they're happening pretty naturally. Now, tying all of this back to my son, one of the things that I'm really thoughtful of when it comes to my children is a quote someone said to me years ago, and they said, your job as a parent is to work yourself out of a job. And so, even though my children are young, I am constantly talking to them about the things that they can be doing for themselves, the support systems that they can be creating for themselves, their routines, because I understand if you do not set those things up, it's really easy for your children to become over dependent. Right now, of course, my baby girl, I'm not expecting her to be out here hanging up her clothes and lining up what her meals are going to be for the week. But as my sons are getting older, and even as she will eventually get older, the hope is that they will not need me for everything. And that happens by having systems and having structure and having support and having routines. Now, I think that a lot of us spend more time in our lives reacting than we do responding. And when I say we spend more time reacting than we do responding, is we are not necessarily thinking ahead. We are instead moving through decisions in real time instead of deciding ahead of time how we're going to handle them. Now, with my son, I realized a solution for him can be having a soccer bag where he puts everything in at the end of every practice. Now, of course, he's a little boy, and little boys be stinky sometimes, okay? A lot of times. So, what it might look like is putting his soccer socks, his cleats in there, putting his water bottle in there, putting his ball in there, and then we can wash his shirts, his jerseys, all of that. And then as soon as they come out of the dryer, they go into the bag. I think that this would be something that is simple. It's something that he can commit to. It's something that doesn't require me. And it allows him to have that level of autonomy and independence so that he can start getting used to routines. Now, I think about my REST framework, and my REST framework stands for R being restore, E being energize, S is systemize or sustain, and then T is track. And typically in that restoration area of the framework, you are identifying, okay, there is something here that's not working. So how can we fix it? How can we fix it? And that's where that energy audit comes back in. But it takes stillness for you to even have awareness. If you are constantly running from thing to thing to thing, you're probably not going to notice what is or isn't working. And I think that car drives can be great for this, especially if you drive without music or listening to a podcast. it can be a great space for you to kind of troubleshoot some things that you've been experiencing, and to be able to identify what support do you need in order to make something different happen. So even the reason why my son went off to the soccer practice and I sent our other kids with my husband was me realizing, you know what, I haven't had a solid amount of time to just sit and do deep work in about 5 or 6 days, because my husband was out of town and then our children were out of school for they had a 4-day weekend. They were out for Good Friday and then they were out on Monday. And so I realized I haven't been able to do deep work. And so I feel like I'm reacting instead of responding, right? I feel like instead of being able to think through what I need in this moment, I'm just coming from a place of, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. The house is looking a mess. I need to get these things done. What is the priority in this moment? And that's also why the planner is so helpful for me, because I do plan at the beginning of every single week. So in those moments where maybe I don't have 2 hours to do deep work, I can say, okay, if these are my three priorities for the day, which one of these three things can I get done in this 15 or 30 minutes that I have? And so this planner really is built to support you in whatever season you're in. If you join the Rhythm Reset, there's actually a planner bundle that will come with a planner. It's the 4-month version that is designed to help you navigate your next season. And so if you have any questions about the Rhythm Reset or about the planner, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer those for you. You can leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys on our next live session. All right. Bye, friends.